Back in 2010, How to Train Your Dragon looked like one of the most throwaway animated films to ever come out at that time, and so I really didn't have sky-high expectations for this movie, and this was one of those movies that I was just a little bit late to the party to. After everybody had already seen it, everybody was raving about how surprising this movie is. Not only that, it wasn't just another throwaway animated film that DreamWorks loves to put out, but it actually had a really touching story. The film is directed by Dean DeBlois and Chris Sanders, who also worked on Lilo and Stitch, and follows a young Viking on the islands of Berk named Hiccup, who just wants to join his town and fight against dragons that continuously raid their town. However, he's kind of more of the outsider. A lot of people pick on him. His father really doesn't really believe in him until he is given a chance to be able to train to fight dragons, and he proves that even the smallest of characters can become the biggest of heroes. When you look at the animation style for this movie 15 years later, the colors are really vivid and vibrant, and it really fits in the tone of what they're trying to do. When you look at the dragons, I love how they're all different from one another and they really stand out as their own. Even when they are training, I love how they all have different set of skills, but really when you boil this movie down to its surface and you try to figure out what exactly this movie is, it's a tale of two different stories. You have a father and son relationship that is on musky waters because everybody looks down on this kid as a geek, a nerd, somebody that isn't strong enough to fight, and so they really look down on him, and it kind of feels like a underdog story at points where you have Hiccup and Toothless just trying to fit in with each other, and the way that they are able to connect with one another, that is what really holds this movie together. It's the fact that it's just not another throwaway animated film that you just pop on so your kids could be entertained and they won't learn anything. This is a movie where it's for kids, but adults are going to be able to get a little bit more of the mature thematic elements that we have in here when it comes down to acceptance from a father-son relationship. And there is so much heart in this movie, not only just between Stoic and Hiccup, but also between Hiccup and Toothless and all the other crews that are just looking down on him. Hiccup wants to be able to fit in with this crew. He wants to be able to kill dragons, but when he captures Toothless and he just looks into Toothless' eyes, he knows that he's not able to pull the dagger into him and just kill him. He wants to be able to have this dragon as his pet, and he wants to be able to see how he's able to control all the other dragons in order for them not to attack his village anymore. And that is really what Dean DeBlois and Chris Sanders does well with this movie. Is the fact that they are able to infuse a lot of different thematic elements in this movie to make it accessible not just for kids but also with adults, and there is just a heartwarming story around these characters, and the side characters between Astrid, Fishlegs, Gobblers, Not Loud, Tough Nut, and Rough Nut. I think they all work great and they all serve the purpose for this movie. But at the core of this movie is just more so the father-son relationship and just being able to have that acceptance. Not only just that, but also being able to prove that even the smallest of heroes can be great but also succeed if they are given the chance. This is a movie that has a lot of heart. The beautiful animation style for this movie is great. This is one of the movies that came out right around the time that 3D was popping off, and I wish I had gotten the chance to check this movie out in 3D because I can't imagine how beautiful this movie would have looked in 3D, and probably one of the better uses of 3D. But overall, this is a movie that I think is just filled with a lot of heart, some great messages for kids, and it just has a heartwarming story of a kid and his dragon, but also a kid and his father trying to bond and trying to fit into this world that doesn't want to accept him. And that is what I love about this movie. Jay Baruchel as Hiccup is absolutely perfect, and I'm really excited to see what they're going to be doing with the live action movie. But overall, I'm going to go ahead and give How to Train Your Dragon the golden popcorn bucket because this movie is perfect from beginning to end. It holds up 15 years later. The animation style is absolutely beautiful. The stories surrounding these characters are great. And what should have just been a throwaway animated movie turned out to be one of my favorite trilogies of all time. But those are my thoughts on How to Train Your Dragon. Have you guys checked it out? Is this a franchise that you love or just find overrated? Go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll catch you guys for the next video.